Hello again, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode of Banish the Doubt. This morning, I want to start off with a profound statement that I heard from Dr. Gabor Mate. He said, "Addictions are echoes from past traumas, from when we were little children." The book Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland calls this paradigms. Paradigms are almost like groupthink, where you would see it, for instance, uh, politically speaking. I'm not advocating for one or the other by talking about this, but a research was done about 2 months ago or so when Kamala Harris chose her running mate, and the media they cut a whole bunch of different media shows or news shows from different channels, and they showed all these different interviews where people being interviewed, and even the correspondents themselves using the words happy warrior. And they cut it, and you see, must have been, I don't know, half a dozen to 10 different um, interviews and people using the word happy warrior, happy warrior. And it's the way that society plays on our psyche. It is really almost like a hypnosis, where viewers were watching this and they were not even realized they were being hypnotized, essentially. So people who are more um, traumatized are they're easier to persuade. So Vadim Zeland talked about this as a paradigm. So politics in general are, or the rush of energy we get. The energy we get is what the paradigm hooks itself into. It hooks itself into our energy sources. So this is how we can become addicted to, and this is why news now, and they call it programming, right? This is why news is 24/7. So when I was growing up, and some of you watching this video, you may remember growing up, news was, I think it was like 3 channels, 4 channels, if that, 247, and eventually number channel 9, channel 11 became, sort of like the new channels to get your news. And the news was, it might have been on in the morning, but mostly just what, I think 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock. That was it. And some newspapers. That was it. Now, of course, as a child, you don't pay much attention to it. But as technology has evolved, it's now everywhere, just like sports are everywhere. So this is how we can become addicted to things in our life. But what happens is we become so addicted over here that we lose sight of over here who we truly are. And the scariest place for most people is that place of being in the present moment, settling down with your own thoughts. See, because the mind, because of life, because of how we live our life, settling down, just sitting and being by yourself is virtually non-existent. It just does not happen. But what happens is, because of the trauma in our life that we don't talk about, we don't engage ourselves with, and because of the paradigm getting their hooks, the pendulum, and Bob Proctor talked about the paradigm, we get caught in these loops. Our life, when you wake up in the morning, think about your day. Okay, whatever time you're watching this video, and just think about your day. You're pretty much in a routine, correct? And the older you get, what does the saying say? You can't teach what? An old dog new tricks. Or that person is so set in their ways. Set in their ways means you wake up in the morning, You do the same thing. I mean, literally from the moment your feet hit the floor, you're doing exactly the same thing. From the moment your feet hit the floor until the moment your feet come off the floor and you hop back into your bed. Think about your day. How much of that day have you spent saying, okay, I'm going to carve out this amount of time and I'm going to just do some self reflection because I'm not comfortable with what's going on and where I'm at in my life? How often in your day do you carve out time and say, okay, I'm going to sit and I'm going to meditate. I'm going to start to understand what's going on. And then when you do, how much of that time is spent where your mind is not able to be comfortable in the moment? How often do you look in the mirror and tell that person that they are worthy, that they are deserving, that they are enough, and that you approve of that person? Or has society gotten to us to a point where they think that's kind of nuts to you? That's weird stuff. You don't talk like that. That's exactly what we need to do to identify the fact that we're addicted to being this life that we don't like. And there's reasons why not. Why? Because we always identify with what's going on in our world now. We have these old wounds and hurts, and we don't realize that our life is being based off of that. Our life today, how we act, how we react versus respond, is all being played out of that playbook. What happened to us growing up. But the way that we start to change this is the way that is to become aware of these unconscious thoughts, to become aware of, hey, why am I binge watching sports? Why am I binge watching politics? And I don't mean sitting at a TV. I'm talking about when you're on your phone, you're involved in that politics. When you're at your computer, you're drifting off in your onto Google or whatever your sites are. Because there's an identification with that. And what Vadim Zeland talks about, the pendulum, is you're part of that energy source. You're part of that. And if you notice how our society now has become a we versus them society, it starts when we're younger, okay? Sports, us, our team, my team, our team. We identify with teams. And then we get older and the teams become political teams. But there's that, again, that's the pendulum. So how we break out of this is we start to recognize that we are part of this and how destructive that is. Not constructive, it's destructive. You've heard about how this mindset destroys family units, where they talk about if Thanksgiving, you can't talk about politics. Why? Because it's so destructive to the family unit. In my own family, we were told that, oh, don't talk to our niece because she's very much on one side and you can't talk to her because but what it does is it taps into something that has nothing to do with politics. It's an identity. It taps into this identity. So what is this identity? What is this that is so deeply ingrained within us that you could be triggered just by saying someone's name? Think about that. How many people in this world, if you just say one person's name, it doesn't have to be a certain person you're thinking about, it could be somebody else. And that instantly triggers you. Because if I were to go and to touch you, just on the arm, let's say, that hurt? No. You just touch my skin, touch my arm. Now, imagine there was a wound there and it wasn't healed. And I go and I touch that. That's going to hurt. Ow, don't do that. That's what I'm talking about. What this does is it taps into old wounds, traumas from when we're younger that have not healed. So the way we do this is we carve out time in our day, and we recognize I am no longer that person. I am no longer triggered by certain things that people say. I am living in this moment. I am reality. Reality is what I say it is. And I'm no longer associating with groups or group think. In order to do this, as we do this, we don't cut ourselves off from society. We just cut ourselves off from the association of that's where I get my sense of my identity by being part of this group, that my group is better than that group. Our team's better than your team. So we learn how to self-identify, and we learn to live in the moment, and we learn to understand we're not those people anymore. That the old me, the person who used to be triggered, I'm no longer that person. I am somebody who is whole. I am somebody who is deserving. I am somebody who is worthy. And I don't need anything external to me in order to fill my cup, if you will. I don't need anybody or anything external to me or events or anything like that to make me feel that I'm worthy enough, that I'm deserving enough, that um, I am comfortable, I am safe. See, that's the other thing too, is a lot of fear. People use this to in, infuse fear into us. Oh, the world is going to fall apart if we don't do this. And that taps into people's sense of uncertainty, the unknown. So today's video is just about a little bit about becoming more aware of how we're living our life and the things that we can do to change the mindset within our mind, become aware, but then become aware that we can change. No, nothing outside of us changes how we change. We are the ones who are responsible. We are the ones who created this life that we're living, and we are the ones who are going to change this life that we're living. We're going to learn to live in the moment, not by the moment. So that's the key part of this, is to live in, but not by the moment. I'm living in this moment. I am in charge. I am responsible. My thinking changes my life. My thinking has always changed my life. But my new thinking is going to change my life in a way that I am more self-secure. I am more happy and grounded. And I am more accepting of who I truly am on the inside, not who society says that I am. I am the one who controls. I am the one who now am aware of when things take place perceptually outside of me, and I react to them. I understand that the reaction is nothing more than the old wound being touched. And now I understand I allow that wound to heal. I heal so then the wound can heal. If you'd like any type of assistance with this, I'm offering one-on-one coaching. I'd be honored to work with you. Go to my channel and just click on the link and select the date and time. If you're new to this channel and you like what you heard, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you feel as though this video is worthy of being shared, please go ahead and share it, because the more people hear these types of messages, the more we can heal people individually, and collectively we end up healing the world. Thank you.